So last class we have discussed about the integration styles and integration status. Integration development. Integration development we can do in two ways. Okay, integration development we can do in two ways. One is integration design. So design. Second is through project. Hmm? So what is the difference between the design and through project? So if you look at the integration instance, you look at the integration instance design. So if you select the design, we have options for the integration development. Hmm? And if you see there is a project option in there. This is a new feature in the Gen 3. So previously there was no project option. There was no project option. So in the latest release Gen 3, we have a project option available. Okay. So if you select the design option, so these options available. And if you see the project option, so you can create the project. Project means in one project, we can create n number of integrations. So what is the difference between the project and design? So let's say design means the integration anyone can access. Anyone can access from anyone can access from the OCI. Through project means we can restrict it. We can restrict this project to be accessing only specific users. Hmm? So like in the real time, they will create the HCM project, HCM integrations, huh? Finance integration, supply chain. Like that, they are going to create the like that they are going to create the project. So in this project, we will keep only HCM integration. So finance project will keep only finance integrations. Like we are going to share this project only for specific team. So let's say, for example, if you look at this one of the project, so here I can give access for only for specific users. If I click the share, I can give the that particular people whoever wants to modify that project, that options is there in the project level. But whereas design level we don't have a sharing option. Sharing means security we cannot provide in the design level. Yeah. So, but the development we can do both ways. Design level we can do, through project level we can do. So you may ask question like when we'll go for the design, when we'll go for the project. So like in your integrations in your project, we have more integrations are there, like more requirements on the integration side. Huh? Then we will use this project option. If you have very less integrations are there, there is no much scope in the integration. Then we will go for the design. And also one more point you can say, if someone asks you, if you want to restrict your integrations to be accessed for specific users, specific developers, then we'll go for the project. So you don't want to give any security, then we'll go for the design. So like that, we will maintain the integration development. Hmm? So now coming to the connections. If you want to create any connection, so I told that we have a trigger and invoke. So when we will go for the trigger and invoke, for example, if you want to have a the adapter should be starting point of your integration, then we'll go for the trigger. And if you want to use that adapter can be multiple places, then we will use the invoke. So in that adapter you want to use multiple places and starting point, then we will use the trigger and invoke. That I already told you, I think last class. So this is the very important point before we start the integration development. Understand or not? Okay. Next. So we will see one simple integration. You tell me like which style we need to take and which connection we need to take. So I will show you first integration is very simple integration. So that is REST integration. So in the REST integration, create the integration which will pass two parameters. And that two parameters as request. Okay, two parameters as a request, and an outcome should be outcome or response. Outcome or response. The outcome or response should be concatenate these two parameters. Concatenate these two parameters. Concatenation of two parameters. Concatenation of these two parameter values and display the output. So let's say this two parameter request, for example, I'm passing two parameters as Apple star. So Apple star is the first parameter. Technologies is the second parameter. Technologies is the second parameter. So we need to combine and display like this. We need to combine and display. This is the output. So we are going to pass the two parameters as the request, and then the outcome should come like this. So we are going to create one REST integration. That REST integration will pick up these two values or two parameters. And when we run this integration by passing this one, so we need to do some transformation. And the transformation become like this. And we need to concatenate one more default, this one. So this will be default every time. So this will be dynamic. Dynamic means whatever the values you are passing from for that integration, that values will be concatenated and displayed. This can be by default. This will be by default will come. Understand, not the requirement. So, yes, sir. So now you tell me, guys. So we are means we are taking the input values from the integration, right? So we are giving the input values to this REST. So we have adapter called REST adapter is there. So what is the REST adapter? What information will be there in the REST adapter? What information will be there? Methods will be there. So what methods will be there? Like get all, post, patch. This method will be there in the REST adapters. Get all, post, and patch. These methods will be available in the REST adapter. Now with this understanding, so which method I need to take? Which method I need to take? Get method I need to take. Get method I need to take. So with this understanding, we need to take the get method. And tell me one more thing, guys. Here, what is the connection name? Sorry, what is the adapter? Adapter name I already told you, REST adapter. Adapter name is the REST adapter. Adapter name is the REST adapter. Connection name? Sorry, connection type? Trigger or invoke?
Trigger.
Trigger.
You can use both trigger and invoke.
Trigger and invoke.
Trigger.
Connection type. So,
Trigger.
Trigger or only invoke also will come, like both will be there.
Trigger only comes.
Only trigger, yeah, correct answer. So only trigger. Why? Because here we are taking the only input, right? So we are not using this REST adapter in the another place, right? Did you understand or not? See, this REST adapter I am using only for starting point, because starting point we are giving the input to this REST endpoint, right? So I am not using this REST adapter in the further places, right? See what I am doing. This I already told, right? This REST adapter if you want to use multiple places, then we will use trigger and invoke. But here we are using only starting point. Why we are using starting point? Because my requirement is I am going to pass this parameter values to the integration or REST endpoint that will be pick up the value in the starting point. Then based on the transformation, it is going to display. And this REST adapter I am not using further places, means next action from the integration. We are only displaying these values. I am not going to use this REST adapter for further means next actions from the integration. Only for starting action from the integration I am taking. So that is the reason I am taking the connection type trigger, right? Confident, right? Hello.
Yes, Vamshi.
Trigger. Now, so this is the adapter name I have mentioned, REST adapter connection type trigger. Now last one. Tell me what is the integration style we need to take. We already discussed now. Integration style. So whenever like this we are going to pass the parameters whenever I required.
Draft.
So now integration style, we have three styles are there, right? Integration styles.
Draft style.
Application.
There is no draft style. That is the status. Draft is the status. Integration style, application, schedule, and event based.
Application.
Application integration, correct answer. One minute. One minute, please. Sorry, guys. Okay. So now with this understanding, with this requirement understanding, so what is the integration style? What is the integration style we need to take? Application, schedule, or event based?
Application.
Application. So these three only you have to remember, guys. You have to first, any time when you get the requirement for the integration, so these three are very, very, very important things. First, adapter name you have to decide. Then connection type you have to decide. Then integration style we have to decide. Even when you attend any interviews also, like how you design the integration, what connections you are using, what adapter you are taking, what is the integration style you are taking, what is your design approach. They will tell the requirement. They will ask you what means what steps you are going to follow, what adapter name you are taking, what connection type you are taking, what integration style you are taking. That is the reason I'm starting itself. I am giving the heads up to you, like how the design approach of your integration. Like that, they will ask the questions. So you have to tell properly. So what adapter you have taken, what connection type you have taken, what integration style you have taken. So what is the development approach you will follow? Like that they will ask, because this is the main, right? So when you take the requirement from the client, you have to know, right? Like or this adapter, where you will use its starting point, or in between of the integration, or only starting point, or only in after the in between of the integration. Based on the requirement only, you have to choose connection type. And this integration should run like whenever you want, or you want to run specific time. So if you want to run if you want to run the integration whenever you want, then we'll take the application. Or you want to run the integration by scheduling, like every day morning 8 a.m. or 3 a.m. Then that time we'll take the integration study schedule. So the design approach is very, very important before we start the development. So the first step what, guys? Tell me. First step what? In this requirement, first step is what? Tell me. Whatever you understand, you can tell me.
Create the connection.
First, we need to create the connection. So you may ask question. So why not we have to use the adapter? Adapter already there, right? I already told you adapters already there. So we need to just use the adapter in the connection. Create the connection in the integration. Create the connection as trigger. Create the connection as a trigger. Create the connection as a trigger. Connection.
These are all different uses, right, Vamsi?
Different instance. I will give you today. Okay, after class. Different instance. Okay. Okay. So now let's go to the select this menu. So I'm creating the project. Okay. So I'm creating the project for this batch. So maximum I'm going to show all the integrations in the project only. Okay. So if you want, you can create integrations in the. I will show you one example design also, but in the real time, most of the time, if you are using the Gen 3, so there most of the people are following the project approach. So when you create the project, I think first step is create the project. Create the project. So when we create the project, by default, 4 options will come. A. 4 options will come. One is integration, B, connection, libraries. So when we create the project, by default, 4 options will come: integration, connection, lookup, and libraries. How to do that? Click on add, create. So I'm using the project name is Apple ST September 24. So you can use your name, own name or something, whatever you want, you can use, but don't use my name in your project page. Okay. So, so whenever I'm if I give the instance access, I think you will not have a settings option. So because the development users will not have a settings option, I am using the admin user. So that is the reason I have a settings option. You don't confuse. Okay. So when I'm giving the instance access to you, you don't have a settings option. You have only these other options, all options available for the development. Okay. So now if I select the project and click on create. So what I told you guys, when I create the project, so what options will come? I think this is the new option. In the previous version, we don't have this events option. Okay, that's fine. So this is a new option. Previously it was not there. So I can say events. Integration, connections, lookups and libraries and events. So now let's say, for example, I want to create the first step is we need to create the connection. So so here integration connections libraries we will see integration connections lookups. Libraries, if you want to write any of your JavaScript, your customized features which is not there in your integration tool, then we will go for the libraries. So let's say, for example, I have a one string data is there. In the string data, I want to remove the special characters. I want to remove the special character for the string. So those kind of features not there in the integration. So that time we will go for the libraries. We will create our own custom library that we can access in the integration layer. So event means, guys, whenever you get the real-time data. Real-time data means whenever you create an employee, whenever you create the item, supplier, anything, I want to get on the fly. That is called events. Okay. So integration, connection, lookups, libraries, and events. So these 5 options by default will come when we create the project. So this project name you can give any name and give the meaningful name or your name or something. You can keep that like that. Okay. So as I told you, right, first after creating the project, then next step is create the connection as trigger. So which adapter we need to select? REST adapter we need to take. So let me do this one. Add. Guys, anything I'm going fast, you can ask me, guys, in navigation if you miss. No.
No.
Oh, I'm taking the REST adapter. Search here. Once again, I will tell you. So click on add. Click on add. So you can mention REST adapter. Click on REST adapter. Name I will give. More REST. Connection name you can give any name. So role I am taking the trigger. Role I am taking the trigger. Click on create. Okay. Create. This name, any identifier name automatically will come. Here you can enter. Create. So security, guys, here we have a we have a 3 options available: OAuth 2.0, OAuth 2.0, or basic authentication or basic authentication. So usually in the real time, we will use the OAuth 2.0 or OAuth 2.0 basic authentication. So because this is the token based security. Token means, so every time the token will be generated, that we need to pass when we run the integration. Okay. So basic authentication means only in the testing purpose we will use this basic authentication, guys. So basic authentication means you are going to pass the values to the integration. So based on that only the results will come. That is called basic authentication. So basic authentication means every time the same authentication we need to maintain same values. But real time, if you want to dynamically, you want to generate the code, that code come from the OCI, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. So then based on the code, you have to run the integration. So basic authentication means every time you have to pass the same steps for the integration run. So only for testing purpose, I'm using basic authentication. So you can use the test. Save the connection. So I have created the connection, guys. I have created the connection. Connection type is trigger. Configured. Configured means you can access this integration anywhere in the another integrations also. Here, not only one integration we can develop, guys. So we can develop multiple integrations here. We can develop the multiple integrations here. Click on add. So I'm starting the integration development. So when I click the add button, so there is a options are there: create, import, and copy. So create means if you are going to create the new integration. So import means like import means I have a one I have one integration which is in the lower instance. I want to import that. So I want to copy the integration. Copy option newly came, guys. From one of the project, I want to copy that integration to this here. For example, I have another project either. In the another project, one of the integration I want to copy here. For example, I have three or four projects are there. So one project integration I want to copy into here. That time I will use this copy option. So previously copy option not there. So recently copy option came. So now what I will do, click on create the integration. So now which style I need to take, application, schedule, or event? Tell me.
Application.
Application. So this one.
Vamshi, how did you select this application? Can you go back?
Click on that. So click on add, create, click on
Okay.
application.
No, here we are having all create, update, delete.
Create.
Create, update, delete.
Where is the create, update, delete?
No. Create copy is there. And delete is not there for integration, right?
Delete it is after you create the integration, it will come delete. Okay, let me show you.
Oh.
That is integration development options. Create, import, like.
So if you after you develop the integration, there is an option called. So if you look at this one, there is an option called delete.
Okay.
Okay. So I told you right after you develop the integration. What is the integration status? Dropped status. After you develop the integration status will be dropped. So now click on this integration. So now you tell me, guys. So this is the integration development area. So this is the integration development area. Tell me, guys, now what is the starting point of our integration? Which adapter we need to take? We already created the connection, that adapter, right?
The REST adapter.
REST adapter we need to take. So what is the adapter? REST adapter we have used in the connection. What is the connection we have used?
I will start on the
Connection name. Trigger connection we have used. Okay, so we have REST connection. So now what do you want to call your endpoint? So the endpoint name, what you want to give? So concatenate Yes, navigation, anything you can ask me why, because this is the starting integration, right? And getting it two strings. Two strings. Click on continue. So see here, one integration, we can create 11 endpoints. So 11 endpoints you can create. So if you 11 endpoints means you 11 URLs it will be generated by means if I select the checkbox, you can create the 11 endpoints. If you are not checking this checkbox, you can create only one endpoint. Endpoint means one URL will be generated. So we will see one example for this also. Click on continue. First I am selecting the simple integration. What this operation will do, same name you can do. So in this, how many parameters we need to pass in our requirement? One parameter or two parameter?
Two parameters.
So first example purpose, I am taking only one parameter I will take. First example purpose, I am taking only one parameter. After completion of this integration development, I will add one more parameter, that is called one more parameter. For now, I am taking for now I am taking first name. First name I am taking. So this endpoint will receive the response or not? Tell me. Response will come, right?
Yes, yes.
So I told you, right, in the rest we have a options available: get, put, post, delete, and patch. So why these options are coming, guys? Anyone can tell answer? Why these options are coming?
Methods, right?
Pardon?
These are the
We
methods.
selected the rest.
Because we have
selected
taken the adapter in the rest, right?
Rest, yes.
If you take the SOAP, these options will not come. If you take the FTP, these options will not come. If you take the ERP cloud, these options will not come. If you take the ERP cloud, the options will be different. So based on the adapter selection, the options will change here. Understand or not? So for now, I am using the get because they are passing the parameters to this REST endpoint. What parameters you are passing? Two strings, first name and last name. I am not using the last name now. I am using only first name.
Vamshi, we cannot change that parameter name, that first name.
Yeah, you can give any name. You can give any
Okay.
name. Name one I will give. Otherwise, name
Okay.
two, whatever you want. See, you remember this one in OER. In OER, I think there is a one word is there, guys. If I pass directly parameter here in the REST endpoint, there is a one word I told you, right? There are two types of parameters are there in the REST endpoint.
Variant path.
Node application.
End parameter or something.
No, query and template parameters.
Yes.
So now you tell me, this is query parameter or template parameter?
Template parameter.
Template, correct answer. Template parameter. So that is the reason I'm telling you. If you define the parameter name in the REST endpoint, that is called template. Dynamically, if you want to pass any parameter to the REST endpoint, that is called query. You remember, guys, we discussed, right, in the bank REST APIs. So if you look at this one, integrate.
Yes,
Review REST APIs. Get it. See, this is the template parameter. And you remember when we do the get all banks and we have passed a query parameter, right? You mentioned, I mentioned that Q equal to column name equal to data I have passed, right? That is called query parameters. By default, in the REST endpoint by default the parameter name appear, that is called path or template parameter. Now if you look at this one, I have mentioned name1. So instead of name1, I will give first name. Understand at this point, this step. So when we'll go for the post, for example, you are getting some payload for the REST endpoint, then we will use the post. So I am getting the parameter from the input values for the REST endpoint. So that is the reason I am using the get. So click on. So this also you can configure this endpoint to receive the response. Continue. So here, guys, now if you look at this one, there is a section called query parameters, and there is a section called template parameters. So I told you, right? You remember before I think 3 minutes back, I told you, right? This is the template parameter. By default, template parameter option came. And these query parameters, when we will use, if you are using DB connections, ATP database, that time we will use these query parameters. I will tell you one more example for the query parameters also. But since we are discussing simple example, I'm taking the template parameter. So what data type you are expecting from the input? I'm expecting the template parameter. Just continue. Okay. So now whatever I have defined, this is called request. If you see, this is called request. And what you want to print in the response? What you want to print in the response? So what you want to print in the response? That normally JSON structure will be what? Sorry, normally REST endpoint structure is what?
JSON.
JSON. Take the JSON here. And what is the output you want to display? So what output you want to display, that you have to mention like this. So it should be output colon output colon. You can mention any name. So I would like to display my output should be this format. So you need to mention the structure. Structure means, so whenever you do any integration, you need to mention the structure of the output. How which format the data should come. For example, you want to return the two columns. Then you can mention like this, output one, like that. For now, we are using only one, right? So that is the reason I am taking only one here.
So here we need to pass the parameter name, Vamshi, or value.
Anything, just a sample data structure. How the what type of output you want to display. Anything you can mention here, it will accept. Just for you are creating the structure of the output. Anything you can mention, it will work. But what type of structure you are expecting in the output? That structure we have to mention here in the here.
Import also it will work, right?
Huh?
Import also.
Anything you can mention, but we have to give the proper name, right?
You are creating right now. Import also it will work, or not?
Import?
Import JSON file.
Where is the import JSON file?
Directly.
Yeah. You can apply the JSON file also, or you can mention sample.
You're creating manual, right?
Manual I am doing. Manual I am doing just for simple example, right? So I am taking the JSON here. Continue. So I am taking the first name as the input parameter, get method, and response type is the JSON. So the integration name is the concatenate two strings. So this is the trigger point we have configured. So first we have configured the request. In the response, what output you want to display. That output also I have mentioned. Sample output I have mentioned there. But one thing you have to understand is, so whatever the output I mentioned here in the JSON, right? So output, it will not come just for we need to pass sample output, how it is expecting, that we need to define in the response window. That is the reason we have mentioned that. Continue. So when I click the finish, what will happen? The integration trigger point will be configured here. In the trigger point, request and response will be there. And sorry, in the trigger point, we have configured the request and response. One mapper will be created, and so one output response will be created here. If you click the finish here, it will happen like that. Like that. See. So the integration, in which way you want to develop. So it is a horizontal format or vertical format. So this is vertical format. I want to develop horizontal means you select this one. Usually in the real time horizontal only we will go because the space is more, right?
How to change vertical to horizontal?
This one.
Okay.
This one. And if you want to know the which connection you have used, so I want to know complete flow, how the like how it is happening. Then you can select this one, outline. It will come like this. So this is the trigger connection. And what is the connection? September 24 REST connection. Connection type REST. It will come like that. In detail flow it will give. So usually we do like this. So here we have configured the request and response. Okay. Here we have configured the request and response. Request we have passed the parameter. Response we have given sample output here. And here the actual output will come in the return. So why it is coming? Because you remember when we configure the request, there is a response option is there, no? Receive response option, something I have done checkbox, right? So because of that, this is coming. Because of that, this is coming. And one more thing is we have configured the request and response, right? But where I have given the link, I have not given the link between request and response, right? You observed or not? Here I have configured the request and I configured the response. But I have not given the link between the request and response, right? So that will be taken care by mapper. So mapper will be taken care to link between your request and response and do some transformation. So what transformation you want to do? So you want to do this transformation, right? So what transformation you want to do? So this transformation you want to do. This one. So I want to display hello by default, and this will be concatenate and display as the one string. So that is the transformation I need to do for this mapper. So that part we will see tomorrow, and I will show you how to run the integration tomorrow class. After completion of the tomorrow class, I will give you this instance exercise. Thank you guys. Anything you want to discuss?
No, thank you.